You're listening to the Scarf Bagara War, part of the Talksport Fan Network, and charity partners with Mentel, for county fans, by county fans.
Good evening and welcome to the Courtyard Club Call, brought to you by the Scarf Bagara War Team. My name's Jimmy Harmer and I'm coming to you following the 2-0 home victory over Crawley Town. We're recording this on Sunday evening. Joining me tonight, I've got Dan and Toby Culverwell. Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you? Right?
And hopefully we've got Dave Whitehead with us as well. Dave?
Yep.
Yay, fantastic. Good. Well, let's get this Courtyard Club Call started then. So, Dan, do you want to run through the team for us, mate?
Yeah, well, an easy one, really, because it was the same 11 from the Reading game. No changes to the starting 11, or formation, really. So, FOTMob, there was obviously tweaks during the game of where players were playing and the formation, but it was same again. Ben Hinchliffe in goal. There's a solid back three now of Pye, Connolly and Carl Noyle, with Torre, Norwood, Camps and Macca. Will Collar sort of playing in the hole or joining up as a front three, with Tanto recovering from his shin pad injury, with the sort of he's always there, Carl Wotton, really. So, I think most people should have got 11 out of 11 on FOTMob for their team predictions. It was, same again. It doesn't change a winning side usually unless there's injuries. The only other things to note as well, on the day, Callan Camps got his 100th appearance alongside Tanto Alafi as well, making his 100th appearance for the club, which is, I say, great for everyone to see.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Dan. So I didn't predict that Tanto would make it. I thought that his shin pad gate thing would have kept him out of the game. Dave, you were there. Did you see Tanto's shin pads before the game? Did you have a chance to see whether they'd increased in size or not? Because I forgot to look.
No.
I think we might have lost Dave. Dan, you might have to ask the questions.
Yeah. Well, going on that, for all those that read the excellent blog by John Bilsby, he was at the Basque on Wednesday for the Forever Friends of Uganda event with Fraser Horsfall and Lewis Bate. And Lewis Bate apparently reported that Dave Challinor has told all the squad, if you do not have normal sized shin pads, you will not be picked to play. Now, I don't know obviously if that was an empty threat or not, or if people noticed on Saturday if they all had full size shin pads on or not. But yeah, that was the what we'd been informed. And if you're not read Mr. Bilsby's Billsbury blog that comes out every Friday, then it's definitely a good worthwhile read of catching up with all them little bits of county nuggets and stuff from all across all the county content, and it sort of brings you up to date. But yeah, I didn't see anything. Dave, I don't know, can you hear us now?
I can hear you. I can't see Jimmy.
Hopefully Jimmy will reappear. So did you notice anything with the shin pad sizes of the players on Saturday?
I did see Tanto put his back in. It didn't look like the size of a Tic Tac box, so maybe he's got a bit different ones. I'm not sure what size he was wearing to start with. But anyway, so yeah, he did at some point have to put them back in, but they were, I don't know, maybe 5-6 inches. So whether or not they were the ones that he originally played in or not, I don't know.
I mean, I think it's great that Dave has sort of done that. Let's face it, the PPE laws, personal protective equipment laws in the UK, they do require certain standards to be kept up. So it's good that the club are taking that on board, and hopefully that'll be the last of that. So, Toby, what did you think when we got turned around in the first half? I was thinking, okay, that sun's going to cause an issue, but Ben must surely have a cap of some sort in his kit bag and then he proceeded to spend the whole of the half shielding his eyes. What did you reckon to that?
Well, at least he didn't have to actually do anything. It was a very comfortable half for him. So, yeah, it wouldn't really mattered anyway. But it must have been blinding for him because the sun was very, very low.
Yeah, I mean, we probably have 3 or 4 weeks of the year when it's like that, isn't it? But that's one reason why I will not be buying a season ticket in the new stand, because the sun is a big problem. I think everyone's going to be wearing sunglasses and stuff. So yeah, no, I mean, in fairness, you are 100% right. He didn't have any shots against him, I don't think. In not one shot on target, I don't believe they had.
No.
Cool. Okay, so let's get on to the actual game itself. I mean, I've got to say, it was one of those games where absolutely everybody put in a shift, a performance. Not one player that you listed there, Dan, dropped below a 7 for me. Should we start with the defense, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, Carl Noyle is like a new signing. I mean, I know we've all gone crazy about bringing players into the building, but Carl Noyle is technically a new signing from the first half of the season to the second half. And for me, he just brings the best out of Maka as well in that position. And Maka, raises his game, and then it's just the synergy between the two and the link-up play. So, yeah, I mean, for Carl, I know Fraser's a big miss, and Connolly has really stepped up. And is it a surprise? Maybe not, because he's played at a higher level. He got a bit of an injury in pre-season and a bit slow to get back to his groove, but he's showing that he's played at championship level. But for me, Carl Noyle is just been wonderful at the moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, Noyle, Connolly, and Pye were unbelievable. I mean, Noyle, I mean, let's face it, he's athletic, isn't he? And the fact he can play anywhere down that right hand side, can put decent crosses in as well. We are struggling with Dave, by the way, for everybody who's sort of listening here. So Danny, you're going to have to sort of relay questions to him if possible. Do you want to ask him how he thought Maka and Noyle sort of linked up down the right hand side?
Yeah, no, Dave, can you still hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah.
That's super. So we're just wondering what your opinion was on Carl Noyle and Maka, that right-hand side for County, for that sort of first half.
Yeah, I thought they were really good. Sort of worked off each other well, linked up really well. Maka was just bombing forward. I think it helps a lot as well because they're both really quick. But yeah, I thought they were splendid. Both played really well together.
Yeah, like I said, I think, like I say, Noyle does bring the better out of Maka and gives him that sort of license to sort of really sort of get on and bomb on as well. And like you say, that whole unit just seems to be sort of gelled in, and even with, like I say, Ben in the goal, we just look solid, I think, as a defensive unit. And then, like I say, if you drop in Maka into that from that three, Maka and Toure, and make a back five, for me, that has to be one of the best defensive back fives in the division. And I say, you can't underestimate the work, the defensive work that Maka does and Toure does to make them three look even better, I think.
I think the beauty of the defense is that it can shift between 3, 4, and 5. When we're out of possession, you've got such a solid back five there that it's very difficult for teams to get at us. And I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't have any shots, because we kept them at arm's length. And then when they did have a shot that went anywhere near goal, like Pye put in a decent, a couple of decent blocks, Connolly is just a completely changed man at the centre of that defence. So, and that's going to really, it's going to really please Dave, because Dave loves clean sheets at the end of the day, doesn't he? Being a defender himself. Cool. Okay, but talked about the defence. So, just back to Maka. I think I'm right in saying, Dan, that his contract is up at the end of the season. Is that right?
Yeah, Maka was given a 12-month contract in the summer that runs out this summer. So I'm sure with these performances that he's putting in, there will be some sort of negotiation and talk about signing a new 18-month deal or 12-month deal very, very quickly to give him another season. Because let's be absolutely honest, ability-wise, there is no doubt. We know Maka is a good player. Ability-wise, we know what the issue is with Maka is fitness and keeping him fit. And there isn't a county fan in the world that does not want this lad to get another injury for the rest of his career, because he's had more than his fair shares worth of injuries. And even if he doesn't play at county, I still want him to go and play football injury-free for the rest of his career, because, like I say, he deserves it. He doesn't stop working. He's liked by all, I think, within the changing room. So yeah, it's brilliant, because, like I say, he's another player that's, like I say, come up through the National League with us, and we feel like I say he's one of our own, even if he's Welsh. We consider him one of our own.
Even if he's Welsh. I mean, I think he deserves another one, as long as he can stay fit. That's his main issue, isn't it? When he's on the pitch and he's playing, he'll give you absolutely everything, won't he? He'll throw himself into everything. He'll challenge. He'll run all day long. So it is just that worry about, like you say, him staying fit for as long as he possibly can. A fit Maka and a fit Noiley is great for us. They're both showing now what they can do when they play together. And coincidentally, I don't think they were actually brought in to play together. It was probably going to be a case of one or the other. But now that the sort of, Noiley's got that right centre back role, they just seem to be playing off each other and doing really, really well.
Yeah, and then, let's be honest, if Maka keeps on going the way he's going, he's going to have to put a goal bonus in that new contract when he starts negotiating it. Because, like I say, but like I say, we're just seeing the best out of him. He's taking the Dave Challinor has said this word, opportunities. Maka is taking his opportunities. Missed so much football. He is taking this opportunity, and he plays every game at the moment like it is his last game, which is great to see. To us, he plays with that sort of heart and passion.
Yeah, I mean, he's. I love the positioning that he's taking up on the field as well. He's sort of occupying it almost like an inside forward sort of role, and the opposition, both Reading and Crawley, didn't know what to do with him. And as you say, it's like a new player as well, a fit Maka. So cool. Okay. To people who are listening, but we are still having problems with Dave. So we are going to try and manage this as best as we can. Basically, Dan is going to be our conduit, and I'm chatting with him on the chat as well. Okay, we'll keep on going. So midfield. I think the midfield was the reason why we scored the second goal, and Collar having license to get forward. He was the guy that came into the box late, Frank Lampard-esque, getting on the end of a top Kyle Noyle cross, header straight at the keeper, but he had no chance, headed it down. Toby, is that the sort of header that you score when you play footy? I know you're a big rugby player, but I can see you leaping like a salmon.
No, definitely not. Like you say, it's a brilliant ball from Noyle to whip one in like that, and you see Will Collar making that midfield run. Like I think that's the thing that he's good at. Like he has so much like versatility in his play. Like he can hold up the ball quite well, his dribbling's quite well, and he can finish as well. And yeah, I think it's a good finish, especially where the keeper's coming out trying to get it as well. So yeah.
Dave, what was your view on the Collar goal?
Well, I almost missed it actually because I'd just been to the bathroom. So as he headed it in, I was coming back down the stairs to lower tape 4. So luckily I did just catch it. But yeah, great header, done well. But the play that led to it, I can't really comment on because, as I was saying, I was probably at the toilet at that time.
Yeah, I mean, we had so much control at that point as well. FOTMob, always love looking at FOTMob, if you know me, and the momentum up to that point, literally in the first 25 minutes, you've got to look at this, guys. Go onto FOTMob, look at the first 25 minutes, and they have two tiny nipples of when they had the ball. Everything else was just county. And that's probably due to a top midfield, Norwood and Camps. I've been slightly negative on Norwood's contributions over the last sort of 2 or 3 months, but today he was absolutely majestic, not doing the stuff that we expect him to do, which is amazing diagonal passes and stuff, but he was getting stuck in. He was commanding that midfield, and we completely controlled the game. Do you agree, Dan?
To be honest, I was getting more nervous because I've seen this story a million times with County where we've absolutely dominated the game, especially the start of the game, and we don't get that goal. We give away a corner and they end up scoring. And so I'm always, until we get that first goal, I'm always a little bit sort of worried that, we played our best spell of the game without actually getting the rewards for it, the goals that we actually deserved from it. But it's definitely, once that first goal in, I just felt that we were not going to lose that game at all. And like I say, apart from, like you say, Crawley's two little nipples, as you referred them to, it was just an absolute dominant display, really. There was no other word for it, without us even getting out of third gear, I felt. Dave,
I think sometimes when he just picks the ball up, he's just a couple of steps ahead in sort of his vision about where he's going to put the ball, and his range of passing at the minute is it's there for all to see. It's something he's done his whole career, isn't it? So it's not, even though he's cracking on a bit now, his range of passing still there. Sometimes it's like, obviously at the moment there's that midfield three that are essentially fighting for the two places. So it's going to be a bit strange on like who he starts. I guess it's going to be a case of which two out of the three start when they're all fit and ready and firing. Because obviously, you would like to put Bate in there absolutely probably every time. So is it just a case of you've literally got one out of Camps and Norwood? Would he be able to play all three? But then if you do, who'd you leave out? It's a tricky one.
Yeah, and you've also got to remember we've got Nick Powell as well to come back into this.
Yeah.
And Fev. So it's one of them ones, we might be looking a little bit thin in the ground over Christmas period, but like I say, the way they're clicking and ticking at the moment, with Nick Powell coming on as well, it's a bit of a tasty lineup. And like I say, it's amazing. And like I said, over that first half as well, which, like I said, I commented on our sort of WhatsApp group for the podcast, it was amazing. At the first half, we had such little possession of the ball in the first half, which is amazing. We only had 42% possession, but we absolutely looked like we had the ball all the time. And we also looked like very rarely did actually Crawley get into our half. But I say they just seemed to have the ball, and we allowed them to play out of their third of it. But as soon as they got to the halfway line, like you say, Norwood was snapping, Camps was snapping, and we really then sort of hunting in packs as soon as they got to the halfway line to win that ball and turn it over and quickly again. So yeah, it was that midfield as a whole worked so hard for me.
I thought our press was really good yesterday as well. It was just relentless. Every time they got the ball, we pressed, and it was nice to see. Good to watch.
It was beautiful to see Bate come on as well, wasn't it? Because as good as Camps and Norwood are, obviously, when Bate came on, he was different class. He was just like dribbling past other midfielders like they weren't there. driving forward. It was just brilliant. I couldn't work out what we were doing though. Obviously, we had so much control in the first half. It's always going to be difficult when you sort of 2-0 up maybe and to continue going on. I mean, people around me were saying, oh yeah, 4-5-0 today. But teams always come out after half time, don't they? And sort of try a little bit harder. And I think the only frustration that Dave will have had and he said it in his post-match, was that we didn't quite run on or keep on going in the second half. Do you think that's just a psychological thing, Toby, that players sort of think, well, 2-0 up, cruise a little bit, playing again on Tuesday?
Well, I mean, it's not like we didn't play any good in that second half. We did make chances, and we did, have the ability to score, but we just didn't take any of them chances. And I just feel like we sort of managed the game out more. We just let the game flow, not trying to push it too much. So I thought that was what happened in the second half. But same again, that first half performance was just brilliant.
So in that second half, you asked me the question while we were watching the game, was what was more important. I think it was about 60 minutes in, to rather keep a clean sheet or to go and win the game 4-0. And you were sort of like, couldn't make your mind up at that 60-minute mark. What was the most important thing for that result at the time, to keep that clean sheet or to go and score more goals, but the risk of conceding one?
Yeah, definitely.
Should we talk about Tanto's performance? I mean, FOTMob reckoned he was the weakest, obviously in a very, very strong team. They gave him 6.5. What do we think? Do we think he was still carrying something? Because his touch looked a little bit off in that first half, Dave. I don't know whether you noticed that at all.
Well, I just think he's probably lacking a little bit match fitness again. Because he's missed another week because of his dodgy shinnies. And, has he really got it back again from his injury layoff the last time? Don't know. I mean, he seemed all right at Palace, didn't he, really? But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he was bad or anything like that. I thought he played really well. Some of the times, he's running back and trying to win the ball back. From your centre forward, you love that, don't you? You defend from the front, and he was trying that. So, no, I don't think he was deserving of a 6.5. Definitely more than that, but what do I know?
He was definitely causing them problems. He always does, that pacing behind, and the balls we were playing into the channels, really intelligent balls, pulling their defence all over the place. They didn't look particularly comfortable, I didn't think, as a defensive unit. You can see why they're bottom of the table, Dan.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, the fact that I say same again, Tanto, very much like Reading, at times he was up front with Wotton, sometimes he was on the left, and he was just constantly non-stop. He was making the runs in. Same again, both Wotton and Tanto defensively, the defensive work they do is amazing. But yeah, no, like I said, we're all big fans of all the county. Anyone that puts on a county shirt, to be honest. But like I say, we know there's more. We haven't seen the best out of Tanto at the beginning of the season. We know he's got more in his locker. We know he can really, from between now and the end of the season, score 10 goals easily, and really, cement himself as a, in that sort of county great sort of book. Like I say, he's got 100 appearances. It's 2 years ago since he signed, which was, like I say, the 1st January when we came up into the EFL. So that's 2 years ago. He's now been with us. So, he's settled in. He should be settled in, where he lives and everything like that. He knows how everything works. This end of season is a big end of season for Tanto. And if he keeps himself fit and gets him to the levels he can, then, like you say, for me, I'd put him down as a match goal scorer in every game from now to the end of the season.
Should we talk about his strike partner, the much maligned Wotton on social media?
Well, he's not maligned by us. Let's be honest.
No,
we absolutely love
by
it
us because we've
said
seen
this.
yeah. Yeah, but I've got a little clip from the Crawley Town manager. Can't remember his name. If anyone can tell me his name.
Rob Elliott.
Rob Elliott, thank you. So super little clip on this, and he's in the Carl Wotton Appreciation Society.
The other stuff to even compete on the football side of things, and I thought Stockport today give us a lesson in how you do that. You know, in the 88th minute, you've got their number 9 target striker chasing back and tackling people in the far corner. That's what you need.
So there we go. 88th minute, Carl was chasing back, and he was immense. I don't know whether it was because he was playing against a slightly shorter, weaker central defensive sort of unit, because we've obviously seen him play against the 6'6" Aidan Flints and those sort of players, but he absolutely bossed that game. And I want to talk about the second goal as well, because the close control to wriggle out of a tackle from one of their players and then to lay it off to Maka to smack it in. It was just brilliant centre forward play. Dave, do you think that we can do without Wotton at all? Or do you think he is so pivotal to this team?
Right now, I don't think we can play without him. He's got to be one of the first names on the team sheet at the minute. You know, if I kind of think that if he does get injured, what we're going to do, because it just seems to be like everything, he links everything up at the minute, you know, and he plays that certain way where he holds the ball up really well. He occupies at least one, sometimes two of their back 4 or 5, whichever dimensions they're playing, you know. So he's an integral part of that team right now, 100%. I just hope he can stay fit.
Yeah,
From a
definitely.
transfer. Sorry, Dan, you go.
No, I was going to say definitely. And we've talked about this lots of times that, you know, with players that play beyond Kyle Wotton, when he plays with his back to goal and he's the point target man and he's got no support, then yes, he's isolated and he's struggling. But when you've got runners off him, that people that you can run beyond him and you can lay the ball off to or lay into the path or flick the ball onto, you know, yes, he occupies players up. So, and Dave Challinor has mentioned it that, you know, Louis Barry's half his goals wouldn't have come if Carl wasn't occupying defenders the way he does. But
Yeah.
we've banged the Carl Wotton drum so many times. If people look at him and think, well, he doesn't score goals, his game is not about scoring goals week in, week out. Yes, we'd like him to score more goals for the simple reason that he deserves to score more goals because of the work that he does. But yeah, no, like I say, he's the first name on the team sheet for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe he's the leading assister in the team. Yeah, he's got 6 assists this season. Lewis Bate 3, Louis Barry 2. So if you look at his goal and assists, he's up at 12. So and the next person behind him from a goal and assist point of view is Collar on 5. So that is telling you how important this guy is to our team.
And I've always said with Carl Wotton as well, I know people look at assists, but you look at his goal involvement, because Carl Wotton is usually the player that assists the assister. He holds the ball up, lays it off to someone to cross it in for someone to head it in. So if there was a stat there that could show you actually the goal involvements where he's been involved in the build-up play, I bet you he'd be off the charts, because, like I say, the amount of times that he wins the ball, holds it up, lays it off, they cross it in. So he's assisting the assister as such, which I know isn't as stupid as XG if some people know on stats and stuff like that. But his goal involvement in team goals is just immense, I think. And like I say, he just does not get the credit and as much as he deserves it. And maybe I think people are starting to realise actually his worth to the team.
It does look like we are in the market for a centre forward. Like Dave said it in his post match, didn't he? Dave, do you think he is looking at a Carl Wotton type? Because we've just said that everything goes through him, really. So
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily though, because teams will kind of look at like how we're playing at the minute and think, right, well, if we stop Wootton playing, you know, do we nullify plenty of our going forward play? So, you know, we've brought in Hamilton to kind of be the next Louis Barry sort of thing, you know, if that's what he turns out to be. You know, I mean, he can't be, you know, rubbish considering, like, well, some Middlesbrough bought him for 2 mil, so he's got to have some substance in his play, you know.
He's played in
And
the Champions League as well, Dave.
yeah,
So I mean,
exactly, and
Pep
scored.
wouldn't
Yeah,
have shoved him in, and scored. So
and
Pep
scored.
wouldn't have
Yeah,
put him in the
so he's
squad, let alone.
yeah, he can't be rubbish then, you know. So it's one of them. Do you sort of look at another attacker in the mould of Wootton, or do you look for something completely different as an alternative way to play? Because then if you did that, it'd give you a plan B.
Toby, I mean, it looks like Dave has sort of settled now on a 3-4-1-2 type of formation. So it looks like he's favouring Tanto and Wootton up front as like a front two rather than what we were doing, which is almost like a 3 when Barry was there. Do you prefer that way of play yourself?
I mean, I don't mind it, to be fair. Like, as long as we keep like playing how we're playing right now and it's working, so keep at it, really. I would like, if we do change the formation, I would like to see how maybe like Hamilton and like Fevs do in the same lineup, because you got 2 pacey wingers who likes to have a shot outside the box, take your man on, who can cross a ball as well. Like, I reckon that'll be quite exciting. Also, if we can keep like Powley fit, a midfield of, see him again, Norwood, Powell, and then having Bait in there as well, I think that would just be an absolute dream.
Yeah, spot on. And I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It is a fluid sort of team. You can either go with the 2 up top, or you can bring someone like a Hamilton or a Fevre on, because at the end of the day, it's a squad game, isn't it? We it's not like in the past where you were just looking at your team 1 to 11. Good point. So shall we just very quickly talk about Micah Hamilton? So this is a kid who's 21 years old. He's come from City. He's been there 12, 13 years, I believe. I've seen a little clip on YouTube, like a day in the life of Micah Hamilton. It was filmed last year. That was quite interesting to see. So do we think that he is going to have as big an impact as Louis Barry? Massive shoes to fill. Would he be given that sort of chance, Dan?
Well, I think what was quite interesting from Dave Challinor is that he's obviously came into the building and the first training session that's involved in was cancelled. So he's managed to come on the pitch with no training really at all, watching a couple of videos and a few flow diagrams on a whiteboard. And for sort of like a little cameo, I was really, really impressed. What I was probably more impressed with was his body strength. You know, we've seen it before, even when Louis Barry, when he first come, that some of these younger lads don't have, and same as you could argue this with Fiorini, don't have that upper body strength. Well, this lad looks like he's got that strength. He looks like he's as strong as Tanto, can hold players off, wants to turn. And same again, he's another player that will get you off your seat, which is what we want. If he's got an end product, we wait and see. But I've got to say, I was impressed. I was really impressed with him. But I thought as well, when Jack Diamond came on as well, his game, even though we didn't get a goal or an end product, but he looked just as lively as well. So are the new bodies coming into the building raising the game of everybody? You know, this is what Dave Challinor said. It's pointless bringing players in if they're not the right ones. We've got to bring the right players in that are going to add something to the squad and get the best out of not just the team, but other players that are in the squad, push them. And like you say, Hamilton looks like he's already doing that.
So the thing I was impressed with Hamilton was the fact that he was able to link up really quickly with everybody on the pitch. It wasn't like he was like head down, I'm just going to run as quick and as trickily as possible. He was working really well with, who would it have been on down the left hand side? It was still Toure, wasn't it? So him and Toure, and he was popping balls into Bait, I think, as well. So they were getting nice triangles together. And for a kid who's 21 years old, hasn't trained with the first team yet, apart from a super windy day, and they were still getting passes going between them. That's what impressed me the most about him.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, exciting things to come. Don't expect him to start on Tuesday by any means, but hopefully we're in a position that we can bring him on for the last 20, 30 minutes again and just see something from him. Because I do think this lad is a game changer for us for the rest of the season.
It also sounds like if he gets one goal and his confidence starts going up, because he's been at Middlesbrough, decent amount of money, Dave, £2 million. I think he's played 15 games or so, whether 15 game involvements. I don't know whether they're all 90 minutes or sub appearances, but 0 goals, 0 assists. So if he can get himself one and just get that confidence back, and that's what this YouTube video, that's what his his announcement video was to the club, wasn't it? He was very much, needs to get his confidence back. If he goes there, I think we've got a player on our hands.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting as well, because I think with this player, a lot of Middlesbrough fans, obviously when Louis Barry got recalled, a lot of Middlesbrough fans were saying, can we send this lad to us to build him up? You know, they saw that there was a player there. They knew that he was young, just lacked a bit of confidence, needed game time, needed that word environment to get the best out of him. And like I said, there was a lot of Middlesbrough fans on social media sort of highlighting this and saying, look, can we send him to Stockport on loan for the rest of the season, because he will come back to us as a better player. And hopefully that's what he does. You know, like you say, it's exciting. You know, you've got leaders like that, obviously, like Ollie Norwood. It was refreshing to hear his interview after the game to say promotion is on. You know, we're 5th, we're looking at promotion, we're looking to push on. So, you know, it's not like an environment where you can just come here and relax and take it easy and just get some minutes. You know, there is a desire, there's a realism that this club and the team are pushing for something, and he's gonna match that ambition and that desire. Otherwise, he will get left behind.
Dave, Toby, have you got anything you want to say? Dave first, maybe on the game, or on Micah, or anything.
I thought Hamilton looked all right when he came on. Yeah, he didn't do too bad at all for his little cameo appearance. I suppose it's all going to be about how many minutes he manages to get now. You know, hopefully he can maybe show what he can do with his limited time on the pitch, you know, and then try and force his way into it. I'm guessing that's what his aim potentially is. And only time will tell, you know. But like you say, as soon as he gets a goal and his confidence gets up there, he might even just push on and start firing again, and 1 becomes 5, you know, in the space of quick time. So yeah, hopefully turns out to be a good one.
Toby, have you got anything you want to say before we sign off?
Well, just by the look, like reading up about Hamilton and stuff, it looks like his season so far in the Championship for Middlesbrough has been kind of a Farini season where just not hit their heights. So hopefully he's come to us so he can, hit them heights and play good. So win-win for both clubs, I think. If we can start him, get minutes out of him and get a goal, like I don't know when, but if as soon as he gets that goal and he gets that confidence in him, I reckon he will be maybe not as good as Louis Barry, but he'll definitely be a replacement we need for that player.
I'll tell you the really interesting thing about him, and this is completely different to obviously Louis Barry's journey, but he's been at City since 2021. Sorry, 2021. No, he's been at City since I'm going all the way back here to junior stuff. 2019 under 18s apparently. So yeah, he'd have been 15 years old when he was in the under 18s team. And he's never been anywhere on loan. He's been City's under 18s, 19s, academy. Yeah, obviously under 23s, first team squad as well. But he's not been anywhere on loan, which is so we can't even see how well he's done at a League Two or a League One team. So I think he's going to be dynamite, to be fair. Cool. Okay, so we're running at 40 minutes. People may be wondering why we've not talked about pies. We're going to leave that to the Wednesday crew. Andy Redding, whether he's on or not, but he is the absolute expert when it comes to eating pies. Whether it's quality, I don't know, but he has 5 or 6. So it's a bit like a Pringle, I think, with Andy. Once you have one, you've got to eat like tons of them. So whether he's on the pod, I don't know, but I'm sure they'll be talking about Piegate. And yeah, so thank you to Dan, Toby, and Dave for coming on. Apologies for some of the little gremlins that we had earlier, but we seem to sort them out. And yeah, we'll see everybody in a week's time. But remember to tune in to Russ, Waggy, and whoever they have got on Wednesday. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
See you later.
Bye. Bye.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Scarf Bagara War. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can catch us every week on your favourite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your contributions help keep the show running to bring the content you love. If you'd like to support the podcast and get access to exclusive special guest episodes, ad-free podcasts and a monthly giveaway, head over to patreon.com/the Scarf Bagara War. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and more. You can find us on X, Facebook and Instagram, all at County Podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow County fans. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scarf Bagara War. Come on, County!